Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beyond Ordinary podcast, man. I got another special guest. I know y'all like the money guys, so I had to bring him back on. We got Prez the Investor. How you doing today, good brother?
How you doing today, Mr. Myles?
I'm good. I'm good. Appreciate you for coming on the podcast today. Prez, he has his own YouTube channel where he teaches people about stocks and investing. And so we're really just about to get into it. So walk me through, man, like what made you want to start a YouTube channel about investing?
Well, basically, my initial reason for starting my YouTube channel was like kind of like a video diary so that I can use it to hold myself accountable. That's like I use my audience to hold myself accountable to stay consistent as far as investing and making good trading habit decisions and things of that nature. So that's the main reason for me initially starting my channel. Then I started wanting to cater more to people that aren't quite yet into the market yet because I didn't see many other content creators that were catering to that particular genre of investors, the ones that they want to get in, they're curious about it, but they just don't know where to start and what to expect from the beginning. So then I started doing my $5 a day portfolio investing challenge to where as though I walk them through step by step as to what I'm buying, why I'm buying it, how much of it that I'm going to own, and things of that nature.
And then how did you start getting into investing, like in particular? What sparked that interest?
I actually was at work one day and I was listening to an audio book. I used to sneak my phone in at work and I would have an earbud
It's
hidden
funny.
underneath of a bandana and a bucket hat and I would listen to different audio books. So I ran across Rich Dad Poor Dad one day and I listened to that. It was about 6 hours long, but it was a 12-hour shift. So it really didn't bother me. I was in my own little world working. I used to work in the warehouse driving a high reach forklift, from a hammer in the distribution center. So I would listen to different podcasts throughout the day and audio books and things of that nature. So I started getting curious about Bitcoin, believe it or not. Bitcoin was my very
Mm.
first investment. I wouldn't recommend anyone out there to start with Bitcoin, but it just so happened that was the first thing that I ran across and learned to understand it and the use case and this, that, and the third. And I was sold and I was investing in the Bitcoin, very small amounts, like $5 a week.
And then what year was this? You was investing in Bitcoin, five
This
bucks a
was
week.
around the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. So I was
Got
actually
you.
buying into it at the top of the previous cycle.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand? But
Well,
it's better to start somewhere than nowhere at all, in
exactly.
my opinion.
Exactly. And then that portfolio, are you still building out, or how's that doing?
Yes, I'm still building it out. It's just
Mm.
recently, like over the past few months, it recently turned green and it's nice and green now. And I'm looking at it like, yeah, I'm glad I kept doing what I was doing. You understand what I'm saying? But throughout the
Exactly.
course of all of that, through the bear market, I was learning how to trade and how to properly invest into stocks and things of that nature because I'm not going to lie, I was buying hype plays and meme stocks and things of that
Yes,
nature
sir.
because I had the improper mindset of getting rich overnight and it doesn't work like that.
Oh man, like I feel like everybody's investing journey kind of starts like that because like I was doing the same stuff around the same time, 2020, 2021. Like you get on TikTok, Instagram, you see people making so much money in the market and then you don't want to miss out. You got that FOMO and then you just start throwing money at whatever and then you might get lucky and it might start going up, but there was no extra strategy, no entry point, and then you just end up getting burned. I lost so much money like in
Exactly.
2020 and 2021. And but I mean, to me it's like I just see it as paying your dues. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
didn't know anything, I had to pay my dues, and now here I am, 3, 4 years later, and now I learned my lesson. I know how to properly invest and stuff like that. So let's get into your $5 a day challenge, man. Like what inspired you to, get on YouTube and start, telling people that you invest in $5 a day?
When I first started learning about the market and how to properly invest in things of that nature, I felt like you ever seen the movie Chicken Little? How he was running around
Hmm.
saying the sky is falling. That's how
Yeah.
I felt when I first started learning about the market. I was all on social media. Like you really need to look into this and get curious about this and ask me questions. And I know I'm still learning, but I'll teach you as I learn. You understand what I'm saying? So I would never get no response. So I said, well, maybe I should just show them. So I started, recording my progress as I go along. And I post it every week faithfully. I just ended week 26. So that's a total of 6 months that I've had my YouTube channel that I've been revealing my results each week. And I give them a rundown as to what I'm going to be buying next week, what I bought this week, and things of that nature. So that someone who's just starting out or someone who hasn't started just yet, it could possibly inspire them and motivate them to get started. But not only that, but to stay consistent as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Consistency is for surely key. Like you got to just put on that drip and just put on those recurring buys and like set it and forget it, because the second that you take your eye off the market because it's not hot anymore because it's the bear market, like you just got to stay consistent. And that's something that I told myself, like after I got burned in 2020, 2021, I was like, yeah, I definitely got to do that. Like stay consistent with investing, especially during the bear market, because everybody said like that's where you get rich. So I was like, all right, I just gotta stay consistent. And like you said, now everybody who was consistent over the past couple of years, now that Bitcoin, I mean, it's breaking out. I think today it's at like 66, 67. Like we're all happy, like getting ready to take off. So that's dope. And I also think that that's cool that you trying to cater towards people that haven't started. You give them like a starting point, because a lot of people, I know when I first started, I was real young, like getting into investing in stuff, and I saw that stocks would be like, I don't know, $200 a share. So I was like, oh, I don't got $200. So if I ain't got $200, and I'm not even gonna invest. But people don't even know that you could buy fractional shares. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm happy to see that your channel is very beginner friendly. And so I also noticed that you mainly in your portfolio have like Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple. A lot of these are tech companies. Any particular reason why you're like really invested into tech?
I have a very innovative type of mindset. Like I'm really into all types of new technology. It fascinates me. Like I'm not a computer geek or anything like that, but it really fascinates me to learn about these different companies. Also, I use a lot of different type of technology equipment, like my laptop, the different software that I use and things of that nature. So I
Mm,
would like to own a lot of the companies that I consume. You understand what I'm saying? And then I have, companies like your ExxonMobil and Home Depot and things like that at a lower allocation, because I feel in my mind that they don't have as much room yet to grow as these technology companies. That's why I have more technology companies, more allocated to the technology companies versus the other companies. But I do own the other solid companies as well.
Like what? Can you give people some of the other sectors that you're looking at?
One of my favorite retail is Ralph Lauren, simply because I'm a main consumer. Like that's pretty much all that I wear as far as shirts is concerned. I'm old school. I like polo shirts and keep it simple. I don't have to really be too flashy. It's good quality material, but it's not as cheap as something like a Walmart or something like that. But I like to look nice, but on a lower budget. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I like to own things that I consume, and companies like that. And I also own like waste management, because we will always have trash. In my opinion, we will as long as humans are here on this earth, we will always have trash. And these companies also pay some sort of a small dividend as well, not only with the potential share appreciation in the future.
And then I was watching one of your videos and you said that you use the heat map to see what sectors are rotating. And I
hmm
wanted to know, like, when you see that people are rotating from one sector to the next, are you selling out of one and rolling into the next? Or are you still keeping that sector and then just stop investing here and then start investing here? You know what I'm
No,
trying to
I
say?
actually I actually stay the course. Now I do
Okay.
have more than one portfolio. This is just the portfolio that I decided to share on, with my audience. Now in
Right.
my main portfolio, I do what is called the companies that I've had for a period of time. I'll trim a little bit off of the position and leave that money in my buying power so that I can buy some of the companies that are selling off at lower prices. I
Mm-hmm.
continuously dollar cost average. Like I don't never sell completely out of a position unless the company decides it wants to change its business model. Like for example, Johnson & Johnson did a spinoff about a year or so ago, and I didn't agree with that, so I completely closed out my Johnson & Johnson position, and I put that money into a different company.
Can you go into that a little bit? What Johnson Johnson did? What again?
So basically, they have two sides of their company. One side is the consumer products that we use, that we
Mm-hmm.
buy out of the store, like the cosmetic products, and the
Right.
other side of the company geared more towards the pharmaceutical side of Johnson & Johnson, the medical side. So I didn't agree with that. Like, what's the point of splitting your company into two different companies, and now it's trading under two different stock tickers? Like, what was the point of that? So I didn't, just that reason alone, I didn't agree with. So I'm the CEO of my own portfolio at the end of the day. So Johnson & Johnson pretty much had to go. I still see it as a good long-term investment for someone else, but for me, I didn't agree with that.
Yeah, man, you just gotta do what's best for you. And if you see that, companies are switching up, you gotta just, stick to your principles and rotate. Any other plays that you are looking at for 2024 that you have high conviction on?
None in particular. I pretty much allocate my portfolio based off of percentages, and each company, it resides on a certain level of a pyramid. If you was to cut a pyramid, horizontally 5 ways, my portfolio is layered in 5 layers. It's like 60% at level one, 20% at level two, 10% at level level 3, level 4 and 5 are each at 5%, and I can fit a certain amount of companies on each one of these levels. I just keep it like that. That's my sole strategy, and I just stay consistent with paying attention to how much I have of each company, and I don't let it fall below or above a certain percentage.
And then in terms of, I know you said early in the interview that you were reading books and stuff to get you into investing, but like in terms of like learning what's a good company, like what is a PE ratio and stuff like that, like how did you go about learning?
I actually learned watching YouTube University. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I learned from other content creators. It's like I
Yes.
would be watching videos or live streams and I would have a notepad taking notes and then I would go to Google and Chat GPT to help me understand some of these terms. I would go to Chat GPT and say, break this down to me, explain this term to me as if I was 10 years old or 12 years old, and it would break it down to the point where I can understand it and then I can apply it. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I did that. I'm pretty
Hmm.
much self-taught.
Man, you just listed two of my favorite tools, YouTube and ChatGPT. Like, I just find it so crazy how like you could really learn anything that you want for free on the internet and on YouTube. You just gotta go out there. The information's out there. And then ChatGPT. I went to school and I'm so mad that ChatGPT wasn't a thing when I was in school because I recently like applied to this business grant and I remember I typed up the prompt and I was like, you know what? Let me throw this through ChatGPT. Let me see what it gives me back. The answers it gave me back, I was like, oh my god, this is phenomenal. Like, where was this when I was in school? So that's good. It's a great learning tool, and that's dope that you use that to learn from other content creators. That's pretty much how I learned too. Like, I just go on YouTube and I just see what other people are talking about, and I look for that confluence. Like, if I see this creator, this creator, this creator looking or talking about the same thing, then I'll probably look into it a little more. So in terms of like you said that you also listed different content creators and learn from them, how do you like decipher like who's legitimate and who's kind of like I don't know?
I use my better judgment for one because I have kind of sort of like a street background. My early stages of my life, my 20s, and even into my early 30s, I was a knucklehead out here in the streets. So it's kind of hard to get anything over on me. Like I'm born and raised in Baltimore City, so it's kind of hard to you got to get up 2 hours before me to get over on me. So I'm pretty much a good judge of character. Listen to exactly what they're saying, and I look into their eyes and make sure they're being sincere about what they're saying, and then I question everything that they are saying. I go behind them. Like I said, I take note, and then I go to Google and Chat GPT, and I do my own research. At the end of the day, I don't just rely on what they said. I question it as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You always gotta question, always gotta ask that reason why. And especially like if you do have opportunity to like talk to people face to face, one on one, just ask them why, see if they're bullshitting you or not. So that's good. A lot of people don't have that good discernment. So more so on the trading side, man, like how did you are you still trading, or is that something that you was just doing in 2021 and 2022 and you put down? Like what are you doing on that side?
Yes, I am still actively trading. I am actively trading now. Currently,
Okay.
I had a family situation and former residence that I was living at to where as though I was basically forced out of my former job. So now it's basically I'm trading. It wasn't a choice, but I was just so happened to acquire the skill of day trading to where as though I'm able to make ends meet in the temporary while I'm in between jobs. So right now I'm trading for my life basically.
Oh, you're currently trading right now, like full time?
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope. And then are you doing options? Are you trading on
Yes,
leverage? Like
mainly
what
options.
main
Mainly
options?
options. Sometimes I'll just buy full shares and swing trade full shares, but for the most part, I'm trading options. I need to get in and
Options.
get out the same day, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Like, man, like I remember I was trying to do options back in 2020, 2021, and I think it's called data decay, where like, the
Yes.
next day, like you just lose a huge percentage. I hated that. Like, did you learn trading and investing the same way on YouTube, or like how did you learn how to trade? Because trading and investing are two completely different beasts.
I actually learned trading through Keenan Grace's Discord, KGU.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
dope. Yeah, shout
Yeah,
out
I'm a
to you.
member of his Discord for almost 3 years now. So even though I'm somewhat profitable trader now, I've been a consistently profitable trader just a little over a year now, to where as though I can win on a consistent basis and I'm not taking big losses or anything like that because I know in my mind this is all I have right now. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to make good trading decisions and things of that nature and proper risk management. But yeah, I did learn from Keenan Grace.
Most definitely. Hey, if you're watching this right now, y'all, like I actually got an interview with Ken and Grace. Y'all can check that out after this. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I remember, I think because I did the episode with Lisa, and I think
Mhm.
Lisa had mentioned his Discord, and I remember I was like, maybe I should jump in his Discord. And then I don't know, you guys might have just sparked my interest to jump in his Discord for the one time. I think it's only like, what is it, $10 a month, $5 a month, something like that?
I believe it's like 15 now, but I've been there
15.
since it was $5 a month, so I'm basically grandfathered in at that price. Although I've learned the tricks of the trade, I think I'll always be there just because on the days when he trade live, I have an extra set of eyes and a second opinion and things of that nature. I want to make sure that my thought process is still in check and things of that nature. And I also get new ideas and new trading strategies from other traders inside of the Discord as well.
Definitely. I think one thing that was kind of my downfall following like 2020, 2021. And this guy, Grayson, that I had on the podcast said this, is he said, listen to one person, right? Like when I started, I was just listening to everybody in every which way in terms of like how to trade, how to invest and stuff like that. So I think that it's cool that, you were like, okay, Keenan's legit, his Discord is cheap. Yeah, man, like just listening to one person and not listening to so many people. And then, you just got to find out who's real. And obviously Keenan Grace, he's the truth, knows what he's talking about. It's cheap. So I'm probably going to hop in there, especially now that, things are heating up before, it goes from 15 to 20. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
one thing that you said, I'm going to have to challenge you on this one, is that you said that you don't recommend, beginners starting with Bitcoin. Why is that?
Simply because it's merely off of speculation. Although I understand it, I don't know enough about it to explain it to someone else to where as though they can understand it. You understand what I mean? I understand it, but I don't know how to explain it to someone else so that they can understand it. But you really can make out a lot better in the long term investing into an ETF first and foremost, something like a VTI or a VOO, something that's going to appreciate and share value as well as pay you out a good steady dividend every 3 months. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to build that out first before you start venturing off into crypto, because you being new to the space, you won't be able to handle what we just went through in the previous cycle where Bitcoin comes from 60K all the way down to 20K. You won't be able to handle that. It may cause you to buy something high and sell it low, and that's the last thing that I want for anyone to do. Like I've done that with stocks, I've done that with other crypto projects and things of that nature, to where as though now they're running up and I'm looking back like in hindsight, like I should have just held on. I should have just stayed consistent dollar cost averaging into it, or I should have been more heavier into dividend paying companies and ETFs and things of that nature to limit my downside risk. Now I'm looking at a P&L on my account to where as though it could have been avoided if I would have just done things the right way from the beginning.
Okay. You know what? From that stance, I agree. Because like for me, like how I was thinking about it is it's the thing about Bitcoin, it's like it's basically like the SPY, of crypto, right? And so it's never defaulted, never gone to zero. So if you really just buy it and you just don't ever sell, like you'll be fine. Like even if you bought at the absolute top of the last cycle, you'd be at break even right now. You know what I mean? Break even. And that's assuming that you bought at the top of the cycle and then you kind of like didn't dollar cost average the entire bear market all the way down. You'd be at break even. You know what I mean? So, but I understand what you're saying in terms of like the emotionality of it. And that's definitely very real. I definitely did not hold on to the absolute bottom of the bear market. I kind of tried to time it around like, I don't know, I think I started buying at like 18 or 20. And then, we kind of was off to the races there. But if you buy at 60, I think the top was what, 67, and you ride that down all the way down, it's a long 2-3 years that you're going to hold on to it to break even. I don't know how many people are willing to do that, especially like, things come up and you might have to sell and at a loss because you need that money for other stuff. So
It's
I
rough.
can
All the
understand.
majority of the other projects that I was investing into as far as crypto is concerned, I no longer hold them because it's rough. That last crypto winter was you looking at your portfolio and it's down more and more each day, and you just putting more and more money into it. Your hard earned money each time you get paid and things of that nature. And then life starts happening and things of that nature, because at the end of the day, I'm not a millionaire. You understand? I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I have a 9-year-old son, for God's sake, you understand? And one of my
Yeah.
children just graduated from high school this year. So it's rough watching your portfolio, your crypto portfolio bleed out like that right before your eyes, and you don't know what to do. And you don't know what half of these crypto projects even are for. You just off of hype and speculation and you wanted to get rich quick.
Amen to that. So you said that you sold all your crypto projects, including Bitcoin, or what?
Not Bitcoin. Man, everything except for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay.
The main
Must-
two. But everything else, like my Shiba Inu, my Dogecoin, my Solana. And I wish I would have held on to Solana. You see where it is now. Like
Yes,
I wrote
sir.
that down almost down to $14, still dollar cost averaging into it before I finally tapped out at basically the bottom of the cycle.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. I mean, if you being honest, it's funny. I told this to Lisa and she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to tell Keenan because you're crazy." I told her like, I actually don't own any stocks. I actually strictly crypto, mainly because for me, it's like I'm younger and I can take on way more risk. So I was like, you know what?
Right.
If instead of just trying to learn so many different like stocks and companies and not have to worry about that, let me just jump into crypto. And so pretty much the majority of the people that I watch, like Jason Casper and Investing Bros, like I watch people specifically, and I also watch like Keenan Grace and Stocks with Josh and stuff like that. But I typically only watch when they're talking about crypto because that's pretty much the only thing I'm invested in. Because I'm trying to catch those big swings, man. Those big swings. Because at the end of the day, if it don't work out, I'm only 26 years old. You know what I mean?
Right, right. You had the
I,
risk tolerance for it because of your age. I'm almost 20 years older, and I'll be 46 in September. So I don't have my risk tolerance is just not built like that anymore. And once I realized my own personal risk tolerance, I'm like, I'm unstoppable in this market now because I already know what I'm willing to lose before I even get into it. On top of I know what I'm willing to watch go how far down in the red. Like I was saying saying as in a joke in one of my live streams, if Apple was to fall 50%, I'm going to the neighbor's house and I might have to sell their dog because I don't have a dog, but I'm gonna try everything in my power to buy more Apple. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah.
Hey, you said something that was major key just now. You said you knew what your risk tolerance was before you got in the trade, and that's major key. Like a lot of people don't always get into a trade or investing thinking about how much money they can make, but you gotta switch your thinking into how much money are you willing to lose. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how much are you willing to lose? Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, obviously everybody wants to see their portfolio jump 10,000% or whatever. Everybody wants to make as much money as possible. But when it's in the red, it's like, okay, what number are you willing to look at and be like, okay, it's down, 300, 400, 500. What number is like, okay, I'm cool with this. And then what number is like, okay, like it got to stop after this.
Now that part didn't happen overnight. I'm gonna be totally 100% transparent with you. That part did not happen overnight. It took for me to blow not one but two accounts for me to finally realize like I need to know what I'm willing to lose before I get in. Because the last thing I want to do is be looking at a trade. I'm losing trade and it's going down and down, and I'm adding more to it, trying to dollar cost average into a trade. That's not a good look. And next thing you know, your whole portfolio is gone. You like, but I worked so hard to get it to this point, and now it's all gone. And then you turn around and you be a knucklehead and you do it again. And you like, no, three strikes you out. I'm not doing this no more.
Exactly. Nah, I blew two accounts too. Like, oh man, I remember just like watching my account go down, and then I'm like, oh damn, my liquidation price is this. But if I throw like maybe another $1,000 or whatever it'll lower my liquidation price. And I kept doing that, and then eventually, I'll never forget. I was me and my friend Zaire. We was trading together. We was trying to get rich quick together. And at the time, I was staying in his apartment, and I remember one day we woke up and he said, "Bro, I just got liquidated." I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, and we was on Kraken, right? And I looked down my phone like, damn, so did I. And what did we do?
Wow.
You would think that, like, stop and learn more and da da da. Keep in mind, the whole reason why we was even on Kraken to begin with is because we heard of leverage and if you turn on the leverage, you can make more money and da da da, all this other shit. So what we ended up doing is we ended up buying a VPN so that way we could get on Bybit, because you can't add Bybit in the United States. And then got on Bybit because we heard Bybit had up to 100x leverage. And so we basically did the same shit again, but instead of on 5x leverage, we was on 25x leverage. And then not only did we do that, on top of that, we was on 25x leverage and we had no stop loss. And on top of that, and I know this it's so crazy retelling this story because like we were so convicted this shit was going to work out. And in hindsight, this was the dumbest thing that we could have ever did. Yeah, we put the entire account on 25x leverage with no stop loss. And needless to say, we lost it all again.
Wow.
And instead of losing it all, I think the last time when we was on Kraken, we lost everything in like maybe like 2 or 3 days. No, we lost everything in like a few hours after that, because you want 25x leverage, like they stop you out at once it goes against you, like 3%. So we definitely got burned. I definitely been there and done that, bro, with blowing accounts. It definitely sucks to see those numbers go down, and then
It
you
hurts.
just
It make you want to punch your pillow. It make you want to cry. Make you not want anybody to talk to you. Like too ashamed to even say it to anyone. So the only thing you could do is just take it on the chin and just deal with it. That's all you can do.
Absolutely. Definitely felt like hella dumb. Like I said, like it sounds like just even repeating the story, it just makes me sound foolish, like to even think that. But at the time, I always tell myself whenever I look back at something dumb I did, it's like, bro, Myles at the time made the best decision with the information that he had at the time. And that was the best information I had, and I thought that was the way out, But speaking of trading, man, like any indicators that you use to help you trade?
I basically use a combination of three different indicators. I use the MACD, the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, and I use the exponential moving average, the 13, 48, and 200 EMA. Those are the main indicators that I use. And I basically go off of support and resistance. I trade off of the breakout strategy. I do trade option contracts, and I look for a breakout or a breakdown with confirmation. If I don't see the trade, the setup that I'm looking for, I don't try to reinvent the wheel or overcomplicate things. Sometimes it's best to just not trade. It's better than taking a loss that I wasn't willing to lose. A very patient, very simple strategy. I'm not trying to overcomplicate things, because I also have beginners and people who aren't even into the market just yet that are watching me on my live streams and things of that nature. And I don't want to overcomplicate things for them. I don't like things being overcomplicated for myself. So I keep it simple. It works for me. And some days you're just not going to get a trade, and that's okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can't force a trade. Cannot force a trade. Like I remember looking back in the day when I was trying to trade and stuff like that, and I would kind of see the setup, and I would literally like just be like, this looks good enough, and it's like, nah, you can't do that. Yeah, wait for everything everything to be perfect, or else, like you said, you're gonna take an unnecessary loss for literally no reason. Rather, it's always better to, even though it sucks, but it's always better to not take a trade and then maybe it will go in that direction you were thinking of than to take a trade and then just lose. You know what I mean? Like, no one's ever lost a trade by just sitting on the sidelines. So now that, you've had your channel for 6 months, pretty fresh, you got more skin in the game than me. I've been at this for like 2 months. But what would you say the hardest part about being a part-time YouTuber has been?
Being consistent. That's the hardest part, just being consistent. Because even when you can't come up with an idea, you got to come up with an idea for more content, because you're not going to get anywhere just putting out just a little bit of content or sparingly whenever you get an idea in your head or something like that. Like a lot of times, me personally, I prefer to go live more so than doing recorded videos, because it takes
Really?
more time to put them together and research things of that nature. When I go live, I can feed off of the chat. I can get the chat to interact with me, ask me questions and things of that nature, and it gives me ideas right then and there. The chat helps me out a lot. So I use the chat a lot in my live streams to help me provide more value, because they asking me genuine questions. And if it's something I don't know, we'll sit together on the live stream together and research this together and learn together.
Oh, that's cool. So you do like research sessions like live and stuff. Yeah. But being consistent, man, that's super major key. Like, I remember thinking like, damn, probably like, I don't know, maybe 5-10 years ago, like, oh, being a YouTuber would be cool. And I know that being a YouTuber is one of the top jobs that people want to have. And bro, it is so hard to be consistent. And the thing is like that YouTube like rewards consistency, but it also punishes you. Cause I remember there's one guy, I watched this video, he had his own agency and he had like 12,000 subs, but he decided to do a different direction with his channel, whatever, so he wasn't consistent. And then he put out a video. This is probably the first video he put out in like 4 months. Mind you, he had like 12,000 subs, but the video only had like maybe like 30 views. I'm like, oh damn, like,
wow.
Like because he fell off, it's not like, oh well, now that I have all these subs, like when I post this video, they're gonna send it out. It's almost like they make you start over once you reach a certain point, no matter how many subs you have. So yeah, being consistent is definitely hard.
I missed one day out of my regular schedule before, and it took me almost 2 months to get that momentum that I had going back up to speed, because I'm such a new channel. So I have 0 days off. I have a set schedule for my channel. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:15 a.m. I do my live streams. I can't miss any of them. And my portfolio update on Saturdays at 2 p.m. I can't miss it. I gotta get it out there. I'm gonna lose the momentum of my channel being as though my channel is still new and it's not monetized just yet. But I'm getting close though. I'm getting real close to at least the partial monetization part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We love to see it. I know they just recently lowered the threshold for that, and I just checked. I'm actually pretty close to hitting that myself, so I look forward to that. All right, Prez, let's get to the rapid fire round. I got like, what is that, 5 questions for you. Let's get it. So, stocks or crypto?
Stocks.
Okay. Investing or trading?
Investing.
Okay. Leverage or no leverage?
No leverage.
Damn, really?
Unless it's options.
Is that unless it's options? And
Unless
I
it's
think
options.
let me think. You were probably like fourth or maybe fifth person trader that I've interviewed, and literally nobody has said leverage. That's very interesting. Everybody got burned by leverage, and they're like, you know
You're
what?
not supposed to borrow money to make money. You use your own money.
Amen to that. Any role models?
I would say Keenan Grace, my big little brother.
Yes, sir. And then any good books you've read?
How to Day Trade for a Living by Andrew Aziz.
Okay. I should have specified that it didn't have to be about trading or anything, but I'm always looking for a good book to read. But thank you, Prez, for coming on the podcast, man. Greatly appreciate it. You want to tell the people where they can find you at?
You can find me at Prez the Investor. That's my YouTube channel. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:15 a.m. with a portfolio update that premieres every Saturday at 2 p.m. And you can find me there. Or you can find me on Sundays at 3 p.m. when myself and Lisa J. Stocks, we go live together on both of our channels for our Sunday Stock Talk conversation. That's at 3 p.m. every Sunday.
Yes, sir. Yep. Go check them out. I'm going to leave everything on the screen, put it in the description. All right, y'all. That's the Beyond Ordinary podcast. I'm Myles, your host. Until next time, peace.